Hello everyone, welcome to week 6. This is going to be an interactive tour of the different places that you're going to be involved with doing your case study report. We're starting here at the wind turbine, which everyone knows, and we're going to start walking from here so that you can tell where you need to go on your assignment. The instructions for the assignment are available through your professor, who's going to give them to you in week 6, as well as a species identifier code that's going to be the area that you're going to be assigned. There are 3 different potential areas on campus that you could be assigned to, A, B, and C. We're going to go to each of these locations today on this tour so you can see exactly where you need to go. So if you did happen to miss the lab, not a big deal. Watch this video carefully, follow where we're going to go, and you're going to know exactly where we need to be. All of the instructions and everything I'm going to talk about are referenced here in the assignment instructions that is again available to you through D2L. So here we are at a shelter belt. This shelter belt was started a number of years ago, and this is an example that we're using of one of the things that you're going to be trying to create in your assigned area. So if you're looking at the shelter belt, one of the reasons why we have the shelter belt here, of course, is to break the prevailing winds that are coming in this direction. But we're also using it for other reasons as well. We're creating biodiversity platforms. If you look, there's bird boxes and tree swallows all around here. We're stimulating the natural succession of vegetation. We're also encouraging native species to grow in this area. And we're also, of course, creating a visual barrier between our property and the high school in the back. So this shelter belt has numerous functions. And again, that's one of the things you have to remember in your area. You have to look around at the areas that you've been assigned, A, B, or C, and figure out what are the demands of that area and how your shelter belt, or some of the different reasons what your shelter belt will do as a function. So again, this is a great example. We see multi layers of arrangement. There's not overly very many species, about 3 to 5 species within the shelter belt. Okay, and if you pan this area, we see that there is differences between the vegetation within the shelter belt and the partial shade in some cases to the rest of this open field. So here we are back at the wind turbine. What I'm going to do now is walk you to the first area. So this is area A. It's in between the drill shop as well as the nature trail. So this is area A. This is what we're calling the drill shop meadow. So if you look over there, we see the drill shop, and behind the building over here, we have a wide open area of expanse, and we have a building in behind. So there's literally no shelter in here as the winds could come from any direction. If we span around this way, we see that there is some trees over on the far side. You're going to have to locate what area the direction of the prevailing winds come and if those are going to provide any information. And then we have, again, some trees over on this side. So what we're interested in is this area over here, in particular coming from this direction. So you've got to identify, if you've been assigned area A, the drill shop meadow, you've got to decide what kinds of factors are going to come into play when you're building a shelter belt here. Obviously we've got some noisy, maybe some dusty particulates coming from the drill shop that you're going to take into consideration when you're building your shelter belt here. So hello everyone, we're going to now take you to location B. So if you were assigned location B on your ticket, then we're going out to the wetland area that's right behind the heavy equipment playground. So that's closer to the area where we did the succession lab, so we'll be heading out there. everyone, so this is Area B. This is the heavy construction wetland area. So what we're going to be doing here is, of course, we've got an open area. We see the wetland over on the far side. And there is a little bit of shrubbery or bushes alongside here. You're probably going to have to figure out what those are. On the other end, as we saw when we walked through the video, is the heavy equipment playground area. So you can see it's a massive disturbed area. There is no vegetation. You got to think about some of the issues that could be coming down here. We are slightly downhill if you're looking at the grade here. So we might want to worry about things like, again, erosion, contamination maybe, all these other things that you're going to have to consider. So when you're designing your shelter belt here, make sure you keep in account what species can grow in an area, of course, that is potentially maybe more wet than the other areas. Okay, so this is Area B. Keep those in mind and keep the location around you in focus when you're designing your shelter belt. Hello, so for those of you that were assigned Location C is out beyond the heavy equipment building and beyond the CAWT ponds or the research ponds. So we're going to be walking out down the service road that goes alongside the college beside the cemetery.
Птица летит над ухом, панели дом. Дорога домой дальше, чем обычно. Вчера читал книгу, было весьма интересно. Вчера читал книгу, было весьма интересно. Я не пойду вечером танцевать. Мне никто не нужен, мне наплевать.
Okay, so here we are in Area C. So hopefully as you walk down the road that there's a couple of things that we need to keep in mind. There is this heavy equipment playground still that was down there with all the trucks. And we also passed the Center for Alternative Wastewater Treatment Ponds. So that's where they're doing the research on, you know, how we can reclaim water through artificial means or natural means. So this is the area that you're going to be working with in Area C. So there are those disturbances. We notice there's not a lot of tree cover or brush cover in here. We notice that the vegetation is quite high. Okay, so we want to talk about that when we do the vegetation inventory. There's a cemetery over here just on the other side of this fence. So there's a lot of open areas here that we have to consider when we're working in this particular location. So when you're building your shelter belt, which will be of course to block off the area over here, then we have to keep those disturbances in mind. So we are also quite close to the water over here in terms of the river. So the vegetation that grows here may, of course, you need to keep that in consideration, maybe some wet-loving species. So this is the area, the general area that you're going to be working with. You can sample anywhere along here, okay, or up along the fence, wherever is fine for you. Okay, so just keep that in mind as you do it. There are some test plots that you're not allowed to go into, but anywhere just on the other side of the gravel area is okay. All right, good luck.